plans.
Good morning and happy Wednesday to you. We thank you for starting your day with us. I'm Patrick McKee.
I'm Jenna Zibton, and we're starting out a little warmer than we have the last couple of mornings.
And not a bad little start to the day, though, for us as we give you a live look and safety.
New this morning, investigators in Central Virginia searching for a man who tried to abduct a 7-year-old girl. Officers say the man pulled up next to the girl walking on a sidewalk, got out of the car and tried to grab her Monday night. She kicked him and got away, running home to tell her parents. Her mother says they prepared for this type of situation, which police say helps the investigation.
As time progresses, children tend to lose track of time and lose track of places and events and exactly how things transpired or suspect descriptions. So certainly the victim in this case and the family did everything that was right to come straight to the police.
It's a good wake-up call that all of us need to be talking to our children about stranger safety and what to do in these situations because, you know, obviously it doesn't matter where you live. These kinds of things can happen anywhere.
Experts say every parent should have a conversation about strangers regardless of their child's age.
New this morning,
New this morning, Virginia Tech is in the beginning stages of changing its budget process. The budget's nearly tripled over the last 20 years to $1.4 billion. The university used a legacy model and says the new budgeting process is catching up to the world we live in. In the past, 40% of Virginia Tech's budget came from state money, but it's now less than 20% as the school gets money from tuition and fees, private philanthropy, and research grants. As campus grows, it becomes more challenging to adapt. The new budget model enables them to be more flexible instead of just increasing the budget little by little every year across the board.
A faculty member, for example, who has a really innovative or creative idea to work across disciplines, to work across colleges, maybe even to work across the world at Virginia Tech locations and partnerships, that they can receive the funding and the support that they need based upon the impact of their work.
Now, impact can be the number of students who want to sign up for a major or research dollars. The plan rolls out in parts over the next few years with full implementation in 2019.
3 teachers in Southwest for next month.
5:05 in What's News today, the Roanoke-Blacksburg Regional Airport holds a swearing-in ceremony for Public Safety Department officers. A law change last year required the change from a law enforcement agency to a private police department. In the future, officers will be cross-trained to perform as police officers and firefighters. The city of Lynchburg and Region 2000 Solid Waste Authority holding a public forum beginning the process of studying the long-term options for solid waste management in the region.
The Christiansburg Rec Center hopes for tonight's opening performance.
Over the past few days, the Berglund Center has transformed into a land of insects. The show featuring acrobats, jugglers, and clowns, all dressed as bugs.
WSLS 10's Aaron Brooks.
For the next few days, live in Roanoke, I'm Aaron Brookshire, WSLS 10.
Aaron would make a cute bug.
Yes, but you don't like bugs.
Well, those kind of bugs I can handle. Those are adorable bugs that are, you know, people bugs.
Okay.
Alaska Airlines flew past rival Hawaiian Airlines to post the best on-time rating for U.S. carriers in July. The Department of Transportation says about 89% of Alaska flights arrived within 14 minutes of the schedule. The biggest 4 airlines finished in the middle, with Delta best in the group, followed by United, Southwest, and American. A total of 21 planes were stuck on the ground longer than federal rules allow. The overall complaint rate fell by 9%. So that's some good
news.
Yep, definitely good news.
Priceline killing its original.
Here are the picture of the day. Jenna?
A fraternity at the University of Richmond suspended. School officials say they took action against Kappa Alpha after an email containing, quote, grossly offensive language was sent to about 100 students. The email allegedly includes an invitation to a party and says the night will be one that makes fathers afraid to send their daughters to school. This comes as the school faces scrutiny over its handling of alleged sexual assaults. Some students are praising the university, while others say the recent allegations prompted the rapid response.
I think this happens a lot more than we as a whole think, and they just got caught with this email. Because of everything that's happening, the school is a lot more on edge.
The fraternity's national headquarters says it's also suspending the chapter while it does a review.
5:33 new this morning. How they're treated.
Nearly 100 57,000 people came out to the Battle at Bristol game. Despite the large crowd, there wasn't a lot of crime reported. Records show police only responded to 2 incidents on site, one for lost property, the other for a threat. There were also traffic offenses, several reports of drunkenness, assault, and property damage. Police made a trip to Virginia Tech and UT before the game to get an idea of how to handle the crowds for the event.
And we watched how their operation was. We were involved in their meetings, and I think that we really did our homework. We were well prepared, and we handled any situation that was there.
There were also some complaints from people trying to navigate the massive crowds to get into the Speedway and what some fans called a lack of security. The Speedway's general manager says they had some unexpected problems with admission, but there were never any safety concerns.
According to the World Ordinances.
On top of major road construction, Botetourt County may soon be looking at new retail and a housing development near exit 150 off Interstate 81. The county is releasing some preliminary details about its proposed Gateway Crossing development. WSLS 10's Rob Manch explains.
The county says that corridor
Campaign trail tomorrow.
More voices are now saying Governor Terry McAuliffe's latest tactics to restore felons' rights go against a court ruling. Republicans won their first legal challenge to Governor McAuliffe's blanket restoration order for more than 200,000 felons. Within a month of that decision, the governor announced he set up a new system for a case-by-case review and managed to reinstate the rights of nearly 13,000 felons. In new legal briefings, the GOP says there's no practical difference between Governor McAuliffe's methods.
They are the court, and the governor respected their ruling and disagreed, but we complied fully with every letter of it.
It's obvious he didn't actually do any case-by-case review. The governor has to follow the rules just like anybody else.
In an opinion piece, the Wall Street Journal accuses the governor of violating the court's ruling and says that if he gets his way, Virginia is, quote, well down the road to tyranny, end quote. But on the flip side, a New York Times editorial accuses Republicans of moving policy backward.